but there's nothing negative about it. I don't enjoy being a slave to food, which is what I was. I was a prisoner in my house because of food. I don't want to ever go back there.
Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm DC. Today on Stories of Healing, we have a remarkable story. This one is not about someone getting their life back. This is about someone getting a whole new life and leaving the old life behind for a brighter future. This is Lindy's story. She is known on YouTube as Limitless Lindy. Now, when she started Carnivore, she didn't know exactly how much she weighed. The scales only displayed the error code. The last time she knew how much she weighed was over 350 kilos. Now she has lost more than 235 kilos plus and reversed all the symptoms that she had due to the obesity, including type 2 diabetes, and she was well on her way to becoming blind. So I'm going to let you see it in her own words. This is a great story, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you soon. Lindy, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and just a brief outline of your story?
Yeah, sure. I'm Lindy. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. 52 years old. I'm a mum to two beautiful daughters, 33 and 21 years old. I have a history of obesity. I've been overweight pretty much all my life. By 25, I was around 300 pounds, which is about 136 kilos, and went to the doctors, said, need some help, and they're like, we've got the cure just for you. Let's try lap band surgery. So signed up, and I had to go on the Optifast shakes, and unfortunately lost more on the Optifast shakes than I did with the actual surgery. A complete failure. So the rest of my life was pretty much yo-yo dieting, binge eating, purging. Got up to around 800 pounds, which is over 350, 360 kilos, just by eating the wrong thing, not knowing what to do. I was depressed, had a lot of health issues due to being so overweight, mobility issues, balance issues, type 2 diabetic, neuropathy. I was going blind, deep depression, anxiety. I was housebound for quite a few years. Found Carnivore, and I'm now 2 years in, just celebrated my 2-year carniversary, and I'm down to around 125 kilos, which is less than what I weighed prior to my surgery, and still going. So yeah, still on my health journey, but it's Carnivore has transformed my life, and I finally have my life back.
Wow.
So in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so 350 plus kilos.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone actually carrying that much weight around with them. Be extremely difficult. And so obviously your mobility would have been dramatically limited.
Absolutely. Right? I've been overweight all my life, so I think my frame has been very strong from day one, just to be able to carry that amount of weight as a child and throughout my life. So 800 pounds or, 350 kilos, whatever, it's a lot of weight. And I was getting to the point where it was becoming difficult. I could barely walk from my bedroom to the lounge, go to the toilet. Everything was such a struggle. The pain, just to, I had chairs in every room because I couldn't hold myself up. I'd literally walk from chair to chair, from the laundry to kitchen to do whatever, and I'd have to sit straight away because I couldn't hold myself up. So it was getting to the point where if I didn't change, I would be bedbound. I think a lot of people who put on the weight later on in life, they don't have the frame to be able to sustain that amount of weight. So they're sort of bedbound a lot sooner. So I think that's what the difference is there. But it's just we're from an Italian family. Most of the family was overweight. Comfort food, or comfort eating. We used to celebrate with food. We'd grieve with food. Food was the celebration all the time. And I've had a lot of issues in my life, and I just always turned to food. And I just had a bad relationship with food from day one. And
So you said you've been overweight from childhood. Has there ever been a period in your life where you weren't, like a teenager has always been a weight problem?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't have many baby photos, but I had the chubby cheeks, I had the little pot belly. Yeah. I was a chubby baby, yeah, all through my life. I wasn't like severely overweight. Like in my eyes, like I didn't think I was huge because it was normal for us. My family were all overweight. And so that was just our culture. But when you go to school and you see a lot of skinnier people, I did always feel a little bit odd, but I was very shy. I used to just hide in the background and just and not get involved with those kids. I was never sporty, and I just sort of was very dismissive when it came to people. Just hit a lot.
Very self-conscious.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So a lot of people, I know, people I know anyway, like family background, they're quite large as well. But they always put it down to genetics, you know. But what was the food like when you were growing up?
Oh, Italian family, pasta. We loved it. Oh, that's my favorite food. My grandmother was Nonna. She was always cooking beautiful sweets and things like that. And I had my great grandmother living with us as well. And I didn't have a great relationship with my dad. He used to favour my sister a lot, and I was always sort of on the back burner. He wasn't the nicest of dads, and so I was always upset. And my great-grandmother would say, "Oh, come into my bedroom," and in her wardrobe she'd have a secret stash of chocolates, and she'd be handing me chocolates to make me feel better because he'd upset me or hit me or something like that. So it was just a comforting thing, and even like now, back even as an adult, it was always when something went wrong, you just sort of turned to food for comfort, and it never fixed anything, but it just made you feel good in the moment. And then all those emotions are still there afterwards. Like I'm still upset because my dad yelled at me or hit me, or it didn't fix anything.
Yeah.
But it just was a bad habit that I just couldn't break. Yeah.
There's endorphins too. There's something to be said about that. There's this TV show in Japan, actually. It reminds me of that. This story reminds me of. There's like they show these great weight loss stories, and these kids that grow up with a lot of food addictions, and they become obese. But 9 times out of 10, it's because the grandparents would always give them a treat. Like they'd have, like some of them actually go to their grandparents' place because it'd be close by. They'd have a meal with them, and then they'd go home and have their dinner with the family, sort of thing, or they'd go and get treats. So that their grandparents loved to dote on their grandchildren.
They all grew up in the war, and my grandmother, she used to work in the fields and, be collecting veggies and I don't know what kind of things they were collecting, and she'd get a couple of coins as pocket money, and she just learned to save every little penny, and everything was a struggle. So coming to Australia, it was like everything's in abundance, and they wanted to spoil us. So they gave us this food and the treats in a place of love. Not because they were trying to sabotage our health or anything. It's because they went without for such a long time, and now they wanted to give us everything, and for us not to experience that poverty and that life, not knowing that they were just causing damage. But I don't blame them at all for it. And it's another funny thing is, like, there's still a lot of family back in Italy, and they don't have the weight problems that we do down here in Australia. I mean, they are eating a lot of pastas and things, but everything is pretty much homegrown, and I guess they eat seasonally as well. Whereas here, you don't go and make your own tomato sauce and, spaghetti sauces and things. You just buy it off the shelf. It's full of crap. And I think that's where the problem is here, that we do take the shortcuts now, and it's a lot more processed than what they would do back in Italy as well.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Like, Europeans, although they are, I mean, the conditions are getting worse, but they are somewhat pretty far behind Australia and America when it comes to obesity. And that has to come down to the processed foods, that everything's made so convenient here. You just buy a jar of sauce, and just buy a jar of whatever, and just tip it straight in, and job done in 5 minutes. There's a big difference to homegrown, seasonal foods that you have to collect and grow yourself, to compared to that. So makes a big difference. Yeah, I agree. So, yeah. And junk food entirely is here in Australia is just so prioritized. It's so convenient, just getting chocolate bars and things like that as well. But that's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, I went to the butcher yesterday, and there at the cash register was a whole box of chocolate. I'm like, this is a butcher. Why have you got chocolate in the shop? I don't need this kind of temptation. And obviously I didn't buy one, but the cash register lady's like, yeah, I know, right? It's so difficult to work here knowing that box of chocolates sitting there in front of me, Why in a butcher would you need to have chocolate?
Well, there's a lot of whys, out there. Why is it when you buy beef jerky, for example, why is it enhanced with soy protein? Things like that. So there's a lot of whys out there. Obviously, the butcher know that chocolates do sell. Same as supermarkets, same trick.
Yeah.
You go to the supermarket at the cash register because they want to make these last minute things that while you're waiting in line, they know that you'd be tempted to buy these things.
Yeah, true.
I mean, even self-registered now, they have these displays as well. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, obviously it's not something new for you. You've grown up with a weight problem and food addictions. How did you come to find the carnivore diet yourself?
Well, my sister found keto and lost a lot of weight on keto. So she suggested I try it, sent me a whole bunch of Dr. Ken Berry videos to binge watch, which I did. And I thought, this is all right. I'll give this a go. But I struggled just measuring all the food, trying to work out macros. Like it was difficult. So there's a lot of people that say you've got to, work it out with your body weight and all this kind of stuff. Well, I didn't know what my weight was. I had to guess because my scales just said error. I was like, I just didn't work for me. And it just got a little bit too hard. I tried to send her photos, accountability photos, and this is too hard. And then I saw Dr. Berry's carnivore videos, and I thought, this guy's an absolute crazy. But I was desperate, and it's like, keep doing what I'm doing. I had one foot in the grave. I was ready to I didn't want to wake up. I go to bed and I would cry because I woke up. Like I just wanted to die in my sleep. It was just that bad. I just didn't want to be here and be a burden on my family anymore. So continue doing what I'm doing or try this weird, crazy carnivore diet. And so I thought that's what I'll do. And it was my 50th birthday when I actually committed to carnivore and thought I need to do something, because that's when my mum was diagnosed with cancer on her 50th birthday. And I just recall thinking, I'm going to lose my mum. And I've got 2 girls here. They're going to be without a mum if I keep doing what I'm doing. So that was my kind of wake-up call, just to think I need to be here for my girls. So I tried carnivore, for 6 months, on and off. I kept falling off. It's difficult when people are telling you you're going to kill yourself. I'm like, aren't I already dying? You got no problem with me eating what I was eating before, but you have a problem with me not eating a vegetable or a bit of fruit or something like that. Like, obviously, I've got an issue. I can't moderate. This was kind of working, but it was just hard dealing with that. And then the family eating around me as well was difficult. I just felt I was missing out. So I approached Emily Harvo from Steak and Butter Gang in January 2021, and I said, I need some help. So I was coached by her and Coach Ray Manazon for 8 months. And they helped me deal with all those issues of what to say when people have a go at you, how to deal with my family when they were supportive of what I was doing, but, this is my journey and I shouldn't force them to do what I'm doing. Like Carnivore, I was doing it for me. They're big. They're adults now, the kids and my husband. I mean, he's a big boy. He can eat what he likes, and I shouldn't have to worry about that. And so they kind of taught me how to deal with that, gave me some tools and strategies, helped me with all that information out there. So much information, OMAD, 2MAD, sardine fasting, and like all this stuff. And I'm like, what do I do? High fat, more protein, less protein, and eat a stick of butter. And it confused me. And they're like, no, keep it simple. All you need to do is keep consistent and just stay the course. And these things are tools that you can use later down the track when you're getting closer to your goal weight. And if you have a stall, these are little tools and tricks that you can try to break free from that. But right now, my focus was to nourish my body and just get to a point where I was comfortable just eating meat and not having the cravings for those comfort foods that I used to have. And it wasn't until I let all those thoughts go and just started to trust the process that everything just fell into place, and Carnivore became so easy. And to this day, I love it. It's like I have this newfound food freedom. I eat my steak and that's it. I turn off. I've got an off switch that I never, ever had before. And I don't think about food until hours and hours later or even the next day. I naturally intermittent fast. I don't force or white knuckle to restrict any food. It just happens naturally. Some days I might be hungrier than others. Maybe I've been more active. Maybe it's the weather, or I listen to my body. If my body's asking for food, I feed it. A Carnivore foods. I'm very, very strict. I just keep to Carnivore. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. I don't follow the clock. I eat whenever my stomach tells me it's time to eat. And I just love that, just the intuition, just being able to understand my body and just doing what my body asks now.
Yeah.
But before that, it was just you'd eat, you'd feel so bloated and, food coma, but you were already searching for your next snack or where's my next meal coming from? It's like I never had that off switch, and that consumed my day.
Yeah.
I
remember, like, carbs or just the standard way of eating, like the Western diet. There's no off which all your receptors are dull, and as soon as you finish one meal, you're looking for the next one. Even if you're not even if you don't have such a weight problem, you're always constantly thinking about food. But it's very difficult. So your family, they're not on Carnivore themselves?
My husband I call him a dirty carnivore. He is carnivore at home and eats with me, but he still does like his treats every now and then, which is fine. I'm fine with that. He does have reactions sometimes, but it's his choice whether he wants to put up with those reactions or not. And if he does, he knows he gets no sympathy from me because he knows his foods aren't the best for him, and that works. My other two daughters, I've got one who's been 5 weeks carnivore now. Due to health issues, she's decided to jump on, and she's getting some amazing benefits from that, and I think she wishes she had have started a bit earlier. Like, she has been thinking about it, but it wasn't until she got to a stage where she needed to take action quickly that she turned to carnivore. The other one, not so much. She doesn't like meat, but 2 days ago she actually came up and said, "I'm not feeling well. You having breakfast, Mum?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to have a steak." And she's like, "Oh, can I have one too?" I almost fell out of bed. I thought, my God, she's asking for a steak. And I said, "Yeah, no worries. Do you want some eggs?" "Oh, can I have a couple of raw egg yolks?" I was floored. And I thought,
Wow.
absolutely. I got up straight away and I made her a Scotch fillet and a couple of raw egg yolks, salted it. She licked the bowl and she hates meat. So, yeah, I'm hoping that's, yeah. And then she started asking questions about low carb diets. And I'm like, yeah, carnivore is a low carb diet. It's pretty next close to zero carb as you can get, but then there's keto and all this. And I said, "How'd you find out about that?" "Oh, I Googled it." I'm like, okay, well, your mum's just lost what, like 1.5 people in weight, and you're asking Google. Good job. Well, I'm proud of you. If you've got any questions, just ask me. I think I know a little bit now to help you
It's
out.
it's always the same. Those closest to us never listen. And
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. So.
And I'll never force it. I'm here if they ask questions. I'll talk to them about it if they ask me. But then I can always sense when they get their little guard up or they start to get a bit dismissive or I don't know. And then I just shut down. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push it. If they want to ask another question, I'm here. But I can always sense when they've had enough. They can only talk in little bits. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So, okay, so your husband's quite big. Has he lost any weight since going dirty carnivore?
Yeah, he has lost weight, but he's kind of hovering now. So he could lose a little bit more weight, but he's content with how he is, and I'm happy with how he is. As long as he's happy, I don't care about what he looks like, and he's happy with his journey. Yeah,
that's good. So a lot of people keep telling you, like, weight's all genetic and you can't do anything about it. But I think the only thing genetic is the way the parents eat, the children eat. Your children are growing. Do they have the same weight issue that you had as a child as well?
No, not as bad as I did, not as extreme. I don't think it's genetic. I think it is a lot of habits that have been sort of brought down and what you used to, but you can break those habits. I mean, it's taken me 52 years to get to the stage where I've got an off switch now and I've learned how to read my body. And who would have thought just by changing my diet that I would transform not only physically but emotionally and spiritually. I'm no longer this shy person that I thought that I was before. Like, I thought that was for life, that I'd be painfully shy and hiding. And here I am on YouTube sharing my story with the world, like how meat did that to me. But these things that I thought I could never change have suddenly changed. It's amazing. So there's obviously
gives you a completely different perspective on things, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the world in open eyes now. I think my eyes were closed. I didn't see a lot of things, but now I'm just looking at things that in different sort of directions and seeing a lot more than I didn't see before, more open to things. And I'm just optimized. I just want to just keep improving my health. I get almost addicted to feeling happy and healthy. And if something's going to spoil that, I don't want to borrow it. So,
that's great.
Yeah.
So, take us through some of the steps. Like, you found carnivore. You didn't really believe it at first, but decided to try it because you didn't really have much choice. So, when you first started this, what did the family think?
Well, my family was supportive of me doing carnivore. Yeah, my immediate family, like my husband and girls, they just want to see me happy, and they'd do anything to have me be happy and just see a smile on my face. I was never happy, so they would support anything that I did. And even now, like if we go out for dinner, that we always go somewhere where there's carnivore friendly options. And if we go to my daughter's house, always bring out the charcoal grill and do steaks and things. She'll do a few little veggies for themselves, but they would always accommodate me. So I'm so blessed to have a fantastic family that are supportive. Other people, not so much. They do question it and say it's silly. You're going to have a heart attack, and you've got to have your fruit and veg and the colours on your plates. I'm going to have scurvy, all this stuff. And I just like, whatever, it's working for me. My doctor's happy. I've been to the doctors. I've had the blood panels, and they were screaming at the start like you're going to die of inflammation was too high and all these things. And now they're just like, tick, tick, tick. I don't need to see you for another year. So I've got my doctor's blessing. I don't need their blessing anymore. It's got to the point I don't really care. If people say anything, I just change the topic now and just redirect the conversation elsewhere. It's like, I'm feeling good. This is working for me. You do what works for you. Like, I'm not telling you what to eat. Don't tell me what to eat. But
it's funny that they don't seem to have a problem when you're on a standard Western diet, and obviously you're 350 plus kilos and pretty much bedbound. And they don't say anything. But if you change your diet to carnivore, all of a sudden you're going to die of something. You're going to die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
That's how is that improving? Like increasing your risk.
And they can moderate their food or balance it, whatever you want to call it. I can't. You know, you put something in front of me and I'd like it. I will just keep eating and eating until it's gone. And I never used to eat in front of people because I was so self-conscious, but on the way home I'd have to stop and eat something to make up for it, because I would never eat in front of people. So I guess I was a closet eater. I just didn't want people judging and seeing me eating things. So I would literally starve myself at places. I didn't want to eat or drink anything because people would see me and judge me. But then when no one's around, that's when I would eat. So
that must be hard. What has been the biggest change in you since starting the carnivore diet?
Oh God, my whole life has changed. Not only physically, I've lost 1.5 people in weight. So my size definitely, which is fantastic. Still a long way to go, but I'm happy with, and just to take it slow from now on. I've lost a lot of weight very quickly, and my mind hasn't caught up with that yet. I still feel like that large person sometimes and do crazy things like, just taking steps one at a time when I can actually walk up normally now. I have to look at seats and think I'm not going to fit. I'm scared I'm going to break it, but then I do fit, any seats with arms. I seem to fit now, but I just can't judge it. So I do struggle with a lot of that still. But just me as a person, just being that shy person that was in the background and anxious. I didn't like to go out in public. I actually want to go out now, and I want to experience the world. And I say hello to people in the street, strange people, like hello, smile. That was never me. I was always hiding, trying to fade away, didn't want any attention brought to myself. So just that transformation as well has been outstanding. I can say no now to people. I was always a yes person. I put myself out just to make other people happy. But now if it doesn't suit me, I say no. Thank you for the offer, but I can't do it. And I'm never nasty, I'm always, but I think people respect me a lot more now that I can say no to things. And just the ability to make better decisions, better choices. before I just used to turn to food, eat my sorrows away or whatever, and then I'd still be in the doom and gloom and everything was bad. But now it's just like, okay, this has happened. It sucks, but this is what I can do. It may not be a quick fix, but I've got options here, and I choose the better option to get where I need to be. Like, I don't fall into deep depression, or I don't, I could deal with things a lot easier now and just move on. So
it's definitely a big mind shift, isn't it? Obviously for you, it's a personality shift as well. But emotionally, you feel better physically. So emotionally, you feel better as well. It's amazing. Like, changing your appearance does have. It's not just changing your appearance. It's, I mean, like, even when I was quite fit, I'd have bouts of depression. So it really didn't have anything to do with the way I looked. It's just the food that you're eating. Just the way it affects us, the way we think. The difference is incredible. It really is. You get rid of those seed oils and sugar. That positive outlook gives you so much more energy for the day as well. Just even that mind shift itself gives you a lot more energy to sort of embrace the day more. To try and do more things. Have you found that? Not just from losing the weight is going to be a huge help, but now, like you were saying, that you have that sort of phantom weight sort of feeling now. It's like it's still there, so you're still adjusting. But energy wise, did you feel a big change even before you lost the weight, or did that come after?
Yeah, no, just within weeks. I used to fall asleep. I'd get up and come sit down here to work. I threw myself into work. That was my escape, was just to get involved in work. I used to work, it's predominantly email based. So nobody saw me. I would just send emails all over the world. I have writers and things that I work with all over the world. So that kept my...
Are you the one that we should blame for spam emails then?
Oh, no emails. We do blog posts on websites. So no, people come to us because they want us to write for them. We don't do the spam emails and stuff like that. No. Okay. So you're safe with me. But yeah, that was my distraction, keeping busy and throwing myself into work. It just stopped me from having to worry or think about how shit my life was, basically. And these people, they didn't know what was happening on the other side of the screen. They couldn't see me, that I was struggling. I'd pass out on my keyboard because I was just like, I think I had sleep apnea. It wasn't diagnosed officially, but my grandmother had it, so I know all the symptoms, and I'd go and sit down on the couch and have a siesta, like an hour after I'd just woken up from a good night's sleep. But I'd wake up, I'd get up like an old 90-year-old. I was in pain, walk to here, do my work, then on the couch, have a sleep, come back, and that was my day, constantly asleep. A few weeks into Carnivore, I wasn't having that afternoon sleep or that morning sleep. I was going a bit longer. I was more productive with my work, not having to pass out all the time. That brain fog was just lifting, and I was becoming so much more efficient in my work, and everyone was happy with my work beforehand, but I just felt I was doing a better job and I was able to cope a lot more with, difficult clients or whatever. I was just so easy. I wasn't getting upset anymore. It's like, oh, someone's not happy, you just deal with them, then everyone's happy again, and you just keep working. And I was able to tackle, little issues a lot better. But definitely my energy improved and my sleep improved. I was actually feeling more alert when I woke up and not so much more inflamed and in pain. I'd be getting up and the pain was going. But yeah, definitely felt a lot more energy. And now, like, I hardly sleep. I only sleep maybe 6 hours a night, and I feel energized when I wake up. I jump out of bed, have a shower, get dressed. I've got a little rebounder behind me. I jump on that in the morning, just very gentle, and that helps with my lymphatic because I have lymphedema and lipedema. that's helped so much since I got the rebounder with just pumping that fluid around my body. And I feel amazing. And every time I get up and do something, I jump on the rebounder before I sit down and start work again. So that's my new thing. I'm not allowed to sit at my desk unless I have a 5-minute bounce. And it's just amazing that just that little bit of rebounding. I can't do a lot of exercise. I'm still very weak in my back and my core and things, but I found this rebounder has helped a lot just by doing a little bounce. My legs, I feel the burn in my legs and my back and my core. Yeah. And I'm actually feeling a lot stronger. I can pick myself up the floor now, which I couldn't do. It's taken me 2 years to get to that stage, but I could sit on the floor and get up now. That's amazing. These little things that people take for granted, they've been able to do it all their lives. I haven't been able to do that for such a long time.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So along with obviously obesity causes many, many problems, inflammation and everything else. What are some of the other problems that you had along with yours?
Medical conditions. Well, I had the type 2 diabetes, lymphedema, lipedema. I had neuropathy in my feet. They were just numb, pins and needles. I couldn't feel, had no feeling in one of my feet, especially. Goodness, migraines every other week, and they'd last 2-3 days. They were really severe. Inflammation markers, the doctor said they were the highest she's ever seen. Just mobility issues, balance issues. I've had many falls in the hallway. I actually knocked out 4 of my bottom teeth on one of the falls. This is like in the middle of COVID as well, where we're in lockdown, obviously the lockdown capital of the world. So these teeth, they weren't fully knocked out, but they would wave when I talked. They were just so loose. Periodontal disease. When I finally got to and lost enough weight to actually go to a dentist and fit in a chair, he told me he couldn't do anything for me. I had to go to a periodontist, and they were like, well, we'd recommend taking all your teeth out and just getting a full set of dentures, which I didn't want to do that. So they gave me a clean, and I do have a denture for the 4 teeth that are knocked. They couldn't be saved. And the rest of my teeth are looking amazing. They're no more bleeding gums, and they're not moving anymore. Like they were very loose.
Yeah.
But I think I've saved my teeth by being carnivore. So, and it's, so 2 years. That's still a lot of work. They're still receded my gums, but hopefully they'll come back. Maybe, but at least I'm not going to lose all my teeth. That was a big fear of mine. But
that's amazing.
Dental. Yeah.
So where are you now on your progression? You're 2 years in. How has the carnivore diet actually changed all those other diseases, all those other problems?
Well, the lymphedema I don't have any pain. I don't have that heaviness anymore. I've got next to no fluid build up in my limbs now. So that has definitely improved with diet. That's been a game changer. If I have dairy, it flares up. So I know to stay away from dairy. Obviously, when it's on hot days, it can flare up a little bit, but it's manageable. Like it doesn't concern me anymore. I can actually fit into shoes. I couldn't wear shoes before. It was so bad. My inflammation markers are perfect. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I actually wore a CGM for just a bit of a trial for 2 weeks, and my levels were flatlined. I was around 3.9 to, I think the highest was about 4.3 in the whole 2 weeks that I trialed.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
so basically
amazing.
You've reversed type 2 diabetes then.
Yeah, I'm on the lower side of the levels. I think it was saying my HbA1c just for that 2 week period, it works out to 4.3. So It'll be interesting when I do go in and see what my HbA1c has been for the last year. I'm looking forward to getting that score. But obviously it's, that was a really good indicator of that things are on track. I'm not having any spikes at all. So I'm really happy with that. No more migraines. I haven't had a migraine in 2 years.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So, and they would knock me out for days. They were awful. So, yeah, my ability is so much better. I don't have as much pain. I do have a little bit of hip pain. Obviously, carrying all this weight for such a long time, I'm going to have issues. But I thought I would need a hip replacement. I thought my leg bone was going to pop out of my hip. That's how bad the pain was. But I don't feel that anymore. I still do have like a stabbing pain every now and then, but I don't think I'm going to need surgery. That seems to be improving, whether it's the rebounding that's helping and losing the weight as well. I don't think I'm going to need surgery at this stage. So,
that's good.
Yeah.
Definitely building strength around the joints is going to help, with mobility and pain.
Yeah.
A lot of pain that people get in their knees and things is usually just due to weaker muscles and around the joints. So that's incredible. That's an amazing achievement, really. And just think about it. This all this in just 2 years after 50 years of this abuse of eating, and just in 2 years. So think about what it's going to be like in another year, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, as you progress. Do you have any temptation now to return to the way you used to eat at all?
Absolutely not. This is for life. This is working for me. I know if I start introducing foods, I will easily spiral. And I don't want to go back to that place. I can't have got any lower than I was. And I will not go back there. I've got this freedom. I'm going out and experiencing life again. I have so much to lose. And I want to be for my daughters. I want to be part of their life. And I don't want to be a burden on my family at all. I want to be.
Big fear for most people to be, as you get older, to be a burden, to be weak, to be needing nursing, or that sort of lifestyle. It's just not the kind of life that most people want. That's an amazing achievement. What's great is that when you're on carnivore, you're so much more sensitive to the way those foods make you feel. Whereas before you just got used to that. You thought that was a normal feeling. So when, like you said, if you do have dairy, you get flare-ups. So you're much more in tune and more sensitive to the way these foods actually make you feel on an immediate sort of, like, it doesn't take years to find out. You can find out immediately. It's really good.
And I've gone out socially, and you can't always eat clean when you go out, and I might have a little bit of veg or something just to try it and see how it goes. I don't find I have any negative feelings or impacted from it at all, except for that craving. That voice in your head starts going, and then on your way home it's like, oh, can we stop here, can we do this? It's that craving. And I know that happens now. So I know the first thing I do when I get home is air fry steak, and I only need like 2 or 3, maybe 4 bites of steak, and then that craving's gone. So I know how to fix it now. But just having the sweet taste of a vegetable, or having a bit of ice cream, or if I do, which I don't normally, but if I do it, I know how to fix it, and that I'm straight back on the wagon strict after that. So, but I find I get the cravings if I do sort of go off plan. And a lot of people dismiss that they eat these foods and they're like, oh, I've got aches and pains, I'm getting old. I'm like, no, I don't say it to them, but I'm feeling like, you're not getting old. That's all the oxalates and crap that you're putting in your system that's giving you the aches and pains. Mine have all gone. And I used to carry all this weight, and I'm not having all those aches and pains. These people are like a quarter of the size that I was, and they've got aches and pains. No, there's something a bit more. You need to dig deeper, mate.
That's right. But like I said, unless you change your diet, say to carnivore, you just don't know. You think that, you don't. The last thing you think about is the food you eat is what's giving you those aches and pains, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is for most people. You just don't. It doesn't even register. Maybe it's because of the ice cream, or maybe it's because of the vegetables, you know. But
Yeah.
like even vegetables, like you said, like even vegetables will trigger a craving because you're just eating, but you still it just makes you want to eat more. You know, where are my nutrients coming from next? You know, so
Yeah.
it's very difficult.
And
But
people often tell me that, eating meat, being carnivore, that is so restrictive. I'm like, you try being 800 pounds or 350 kilos, and you tell
yeah,
me that's not restrictive.
yeah,
To me,
exactly.
this is easy. Like, they haven't got to that point, and they probably never will. And I'm grateful for that. Like, I hate to see people in that position that I was in. But for me, it's not restrictive. This has freed me. I have that food freedom. I've got my life back, and it's manageable. I can sustain this. I can't sustain any other diet. I've tried every diet. I failed lap band surgery, failed every diet. I felt as like a failure as a person. But carnivore has changed my life, and I'm getting results. I'm continuing to get results, and it's not only changed me physically, but every aspect of my life has changed.
A
So
whole new life.
why would I go back to how I was before when this is working for me?
Yeah, I agree. There's people look at food as being their center of entertainment, their center of life. And if you say, okay, I only eat meat and eggs, for example, that it looks restrictive. But like you said, like being stuck at home in bed, that's restrictive. Not being
Yeah,
able to go outside and enjoy your life, enjoy your day, and wasting time, all your time centered around food. That is restrictive. You're restricted to the kitchen. You're
yeah,
restricted to the restaurant, or wherever you go. But think about how much time you get back as well. It's like I say this a lot, but there's not many times in life where you actually get time back, but you do on the carnivore diet.
yeah. And I've become a lot more minimalistic in life as well. I've been going through my house and purging things I've got stuff here from my grandmother, my great grandmother, my mum and dad who are no longer here. I've just got boxes and boxes of things. Why do I need all this stuff? It's just baggage. It reminds me of that they're not here anymore. And obviously I've gone through it and literally purged it. I've kept just a few items that give me joy. I like Marie Kondo. I love Marie Kondo. They give me joy. I keep those items. Everything else I've donated. Someone else could use that stuff. I don't need it sitting in my house, chucking up my wardrobes and my rooms. And I've just become so minimalistic and slowly just taking these things out of my life. And I just feel like a weight has lifted off my shoulders. So eating is so simple as well. And people are like, oh, you got to live a little, have a piece of cake. It's not going to kill you. Well, yeah, it will hurt me. And I don't want it. Like, I am living. That's the thing. I am living even without that cake. It's not my focus anymore. I don't care about a piece of sugary cake. I care about jumping in my car and visiting my daughters, going for a walk along a beach. And that cake will sabotage me and could spiral me back to 300 kilos or whatever. Like, it's not worth it. A piece of cake is not worth it for me. If you enjoy it, go ahead, be my guest. You have my piece as well. I don't care. But for me, I can't do it. I don't want it.
No cake tastes as good as you feel right now.
No. Yeah.
And like when I referred to time, it's not just the time you get through the day, like the hours that you get due to food preparation, meals, and things like that. Think about the end of life hours, the end of life years that you get back as well. Like if you hadn't started this 2 years ago, you may not be here now.
I wouldn't be here today. I was literally on death's door. I had one foot in the grave and I didn't want to wake up. That was it. It's just,
So
I
everything's
was just
sin.
waiting.
Yeah, it's like I'm the same. I feel the same way. Like every year since my diagnosis has been a bonus, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like it is for you too. Every year that you've gotten now from the time you started Carnivore is a bonus year. This is, you know, an extra life that you've been given. You know?
Yeah. And I'd love to grow old, but a healthy old. I don't want to be a burden on people. I want to be part of my girl's life and doing things with them. If I was a burden and frail and be put in a nursing home, that is not life for me. And I think I'm doing the best that I can to avoid that kind of life. I'm hoping that I'll be here for the better and having a, you know, we're all going to die one day, but I want to die peacefully in my sleep. That's how I want to go. And my daughters to see me, just to remember me in a good way. Like all my loved ones have suffered. Mum and dad with cancer. My grandfather had Alzheimer's. My grandmother, she had lung conditions really bad. And I watched them suffer. And I don't want to, I need to break that pattern in our family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about advice? What would be your best kind of advice you could give to someone who has not started the carnivore diet, maybe had the same problems that you have or had, but not really sure what to do?
Oh, just definitely do your own research. There's so many stories and testimonials online. Binge watch YouTube. Dr. Berry, for one, he's got some amazing videos. There's a lot of stories out there, people sharing their journey, and just give it a go. Don't hesitate. And it will be hard. It is hard getting started. And all you need to do is keep it simple and keep consistent. Just eat meat, eggs. If you're okay with dairy, a bit of dairy, but there's, fish, beef, chicken, pork. Just keep eating what you want and eat till you're fully satiated. If that means eating a lot and you put on a little bit of weight, that's okay. You're trying to nourish your body. Once your body's nourished, your appetite will start to come down and you'll naturally start to intermittent fast. But just put your trust in the process. Keep it simple. Don't worry about OMAD, restricting, exercising now. This will all come later down the track. Once you start to feel good, you can then start to add a bit more movement in and, change things up if you need to go a little bit tighter and cut out, dairy and those other items, coffee or whatever. You can do that at a later date. You just do what you need to do to keep consistent now. So I think that consistency is key.
Absolutely. Consistency is always the key. Like, even if you do fall off the wagon, it's about consistency over time. It's not about that particular moment. One drop a day will always fill the glass eventually, great advice.
And if you fall off, you get straight back on the wagon. Don't wait till next Monday or the next month. You just next meal is strict carnivore again, because that week or two, the next meal has to be carnivore, because you can do so much damage in a week and reverse all the progress that you made.
What about treats? Do you reward yourself?
I treat myself to a coffee. I don't find it affects me at all. So if I go out socially, I will have a coffee while my friends have their cake and sweets. I don't have cake and sweets. I don't have sugar. I don't have milk in my coffee. I just have a long black, and it's usually diluted, like it's not full strength anyway. I always just top up the mug with extra water.
Do you normally drink coffee though through the day?
No, never at home. Occasionally I might have one every second week or third week, but I usually I just drink just water. I've got a soda stream. In summer I like a bit of bubbles in my water, but there's no sweeteners or anything in it, just plain soda stream. But yeah, coffee is my go-to treat, and I don't eat a lot of bacon at home. But if I go out, we normally go out for a breakfast with friends. I'll have bacon and eggs, and that's like another treat for me. Cheese, if we do go out, I will have a little bit of cheese. That's a bit of a treat, but I know I'm going to suffer with a bit of fluid retention, and it's not too bad. Like I can deal with that, but at least I'm eating something, and I feel like I'm sort of involved. And it does stop a few people saying things. If I'm not eating anything, they all think I'm weird. So if I have like an egg or a bit of cheese or cabana or processed ham, it's not. I could do a lot worse, and I'm not going to. So I still try and stay as clean as I can. I have.
Sorry, continue.
Like I have had an ice cream here and there, just at a social, when we go out for dinner and all that. But probably 2 or 3 times, and I don't enjoy it. Which I find that used to be my go-to. I was obsessed with ice cream, and I have it, and I'm like, why did I do that? I didn't even enjoy it. I just don't have the same enjoyment that I used to have. So. But I think I'm at that point now that I can have a treat here and there, and I won't let it take over. Like I just jump straight back on the wagon. So
you found that your taste has changed?
Absolutely. Yeah. I enjoy my steak now. Sometimes I get a bit thick of porterhouse because that's what I was having all the time, and now I've moved on to Scotch fillet and having some extra. I can't tend to stick with ruminant animals, and just changing the cut of meat is different texture, different flavour, and I'm really enjoying trying new cuts now. Whereas before, I just had the same thing every day. And I've got a bit of an aversion to porterhouse now. Yeah.
Okay. So what does a typical day of eating look like for you? Now, you've had lap band surgery, so your meals are usually quite small. So
they are,
how do you space out your meals then?
Well, I don't normally eat until later in the afternoon. I just can't bear to eat in the morning. So normally about 2 or 3 p.m. I'll have my first meal. I'll make a steak. Sometimes I can eat it all, but it takes me an hour and a half to 2 hours to eat because I chop it up into little bits and I just take one bite at a time. If I eat too fast, I can't keep it down. That restriction, it's still there. Like it has impacted my carnivore journey. So I do have to eat really slow or just eat little bits at a time. So sometimes I can't eat a whole steak and I just pop it in the fridge and I'll have it later, at dinner time. I'll pull it out for dinner and eat the rest. Or if I'm not hungry, I'll have it the next day. So every day is different. I just go by how I'm feeling. I do tend to undereat a bit, and then I find that my weight stalls. So then I have to make a conscious effort to do a bit of a little prime, which means I eat 5-6 meals every day, and it'll only be a few bites, and that's what I consider a prime for me because it's more than what I would normally eat, and that kind of ramps up the metabolism again because my metabolism slows down. And once I get that ramped up again, the weight loss starts to drop again. And I'm at that point now where things are kind of stalled. So I need to just concentrate on eating a lot of little meals throughout the day and just having a piece of steak, chop it into little bits, have a few pieces, throw it in the fridge and go back in a couple of hours and do that throughout the day for like 2 or 3 days. And that's enough to get the scales moving again. But
that's great. So that's a great misconception. People think that you have to eat less to lose weight. But the fact is your body doesn't crave calories, it craves nutrients. So sometimes you need to actually eat more food to lose weight.
And I don't have the hunger signals or want to eat, but I'm forcing myself to eat those bites just to ramp up my metabolism again because I want the weight to keep dropping. I need to lose more weight. So I can't afford for my body to adjust and not work anymore. So, these are just little things that you learn about your body.
Yeah, that's right. Changing the time that you eat as well will help ramp up the metabolism as well. You need to mix that up sometimes. But people often will be a little bit scared to eat too much, so they tend to cut back on too much instead of eating enough food, not getting those nutrients in. So that's the big problem for many people. I think starting carnivore as well. They just don't eat enough food.
Yeah. I still struggle with those mentalities. Like every now and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to be eating too much. I need to restrict, or I shouldn't have the fat because I'm going to gain more fat. And I keep proving myself wrong time and time again. But those things, they just still stick in my head. So I do still struggle with all those thoughts. And
well, it's been a lifetime of indoctrination, hasn't it? I was very fat phobic myself. Like all my meat, I would always cut the fat off, and I always had just the very leanest, like chicken breast, and like I would eat like a kilo of chicken breast in a day, and it was just, it's crazy. I was basically just starving my body of nutrients. So like you can eat a lot of food and still be malnourished.
yes.
So you have to give the body the food with the most dense nutrients in as you can. That's the greatest thing I think about the carnivore diet is you're replenishing those nutrients that you've just spent a lifetime trying to cut out. But everything essential for life is demonized these days. So there you go. What would be your favorite thing about the carnivore diet then?
The food freedom. Just having that food freedom and giving me my life back. My focus is not on food anymore. That's just I eat it when I'm hungry and forget about it. And then I'm like, what am I going to do with all this time? I can, run around the house, do things, go out, enjoy the sunshine. I've got my life back. So definitely that food freedom, freeing up my mind and giving me the ability just to love my life again. Yeah,
that's incredible. What would be the biggest drawback, do you think?
Not finding it sooner. I could have had such a fantastic life if I had found carnivore a lot sooner, but it is what it is, and I'm grateful that I finally found it. It's definitely been the magic or the limitless pill for me. It's just been amazing. But there's nothing negative about it. I don't enjoy being a slave to food, which is what I was. I was a prisoner in my house because of food. I don't want to ever go back there.
Yeah, very good. Have you found that, speaking to other carnivores, they've never thought about exercise beforehand, but since going carnivore, feel more driven to get into sports and to get into movement. Have you found the same feeling?
I hated exercise all my life. I avoided it because I was hopeless at it. I just didn't have the body or the physique for it. I always looked odd and out of it. It's only in the last couple of months. I only got the rebounder last month and it's been amazing. I actually want to move now. I was in so much pain before and I physically just didn't want to move. I did do some walking probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I used to walk around the block for an hour and I kind of enjoyed that for a little bit. But, geez, I had to force myself to do it every morning and it became more of a habit and it was good for me, I know, but I wasn't really losing lots of weight or like I was trying everything to lose weight, but it was not budging. But I haven't done exercise for 2 years because physically I was in so much pain. My body just couldn't hold my weight up. And it's only been in the last couple of months that I've been wanting to get out and move and just little things like we'd go out and I'd tell my husband would drop me off at the front door of wherever we were going because I couldn't walk. And then he'd go and park the car and then come back and get me and I'd try and go inside and find a seat. Now I'm like, I'll just park the car and I'm happy to walk. hand in hand, like an old married couple. We walk up to wherever we're going. And, he's no longer having to park the car and drop me off at places anymore. And just all those little things that I just couldn't do before. I'm fine. We'll go out and it doesn't matter where we are. I'm not upset or anxious about walking to wherever we need to go to. So, yeah, that's been a huge change as well. But the rebounder I've been loving. Still not confident going out walking on my own. Because I've had a few falls. I still have that fear that if I do fall over in the street, how am I going to get up and getting up off the floor? Like, I still feel like at home I'm safe and there's no eyes in here if anything does happen. But if I'm out in the street, I just like to have company. So still got those fears there, which I'm trying to conquer. But that'll come in time. It's been a big change in a short time. And
maybe you'll get your husband to go walking with you.
I'll try. Yeah.
So, we'll finish off with just any last words of wisdom.
Oh, just do it. Am I allowed to say that, or will I get in trouble by Nike? Yeah, look, don't diss Carnivore until you've tried it. You give it a good go for 30 to 90 days and see what happens. If you don't like it, fine. There's plenty of alternatives out there, but it's different for everyone. Find what works for you. This works for me, and it has for thousands and hundreds of thousands of other people. There is something in this, and just whatever you decide to do, we all want the same goal, and that's to be healthy and feel optimal. So whatever that looks like for you, respect what other people are doing and don't give each other a hard time. It's, it's a journey that we should be celebrating together. And help other people out. Everyone needs a bit of support. I tried doing it on my own and I couldn't. And it wasn't until I found the Carnivore community and reached out. The support has been amazing, and that's kept me accountable and on track. So definitely don't do it alone. If you're struggling, reach out. There's a lot of people out there that are willing to help.
That's important too. You don't have to do it on your own.
No.
So great bit of advice. Excellent.